voice can break the dark. A single spark ignites the heart. But if we turn when justice calls, the chains we forge will bind us all. When truth is silenced, when lies take hold, the cost is freedom, the soul grows cold. No one stands tall while another must fall. Freedom for one depends on freedom for all. We're mavericks of freedom, rebels in the fight, defending every voice, defending every right. For the moment we falter, the moment we stall, we lose our own freedom when we let others fall. You can't stand free while others kneel. When justice fades, it's freedom they steal. An innocent condemned, a crime unspoken, and with it the bond of liberty is broken. No tyrant rules without our consent. Oppression thrives where silence is spent. Stand for the weak, the silence the small, or freedom will crumble for us all. We're mavericks of freedom, guardians of the light, fighting for the truth, for what is just and right. For the rights of one are the rights of all. We rise or we fall by answering the call. Even those we may oppose deserve the rights we all uphold. For if we deny them what is fair, we build our own prison in despair. The fight's not easy, it never will be, but justice for one is the key to be free. We stand as mavericks, together we strive, defending the rights that keep freedom alive. We're mavericks of freedom, rebels in the fight, upholding every truth, protecting every right. When one is oppressed, we're all in the thrall. Freedom for one depends on freedom for all. So take a stand, let your courage rise. Defend the truth, don't compromise. For the soul of the world, the writing's on the wall. Freedom for one depends on freedom for all.
Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Maverick News Channel. Great to have everybody here. So, a wave of patriotism is sweeping across Canada. And that's what happens when a president tries to, or suggests, or hints that they might take over your country and annex you. Donald Trump is experiencing, what do they call that? Unintended consequences. It's now a real horse race heading into the next federal election in Canada. The Conservatives were way out in front, had a commanding lead. Now new polls show it's pretty much neck and neck. So we'll get into a little bit of that tonight. Premiers went to Washington. We also have Justin Trudeau saying Canada as the 51st state is a non-starter. Hamas saying they are now refusing say they'll refuse to release the hostages by the Saturday deadline. And what else do we have? Oh, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. She's been confirmed, sworn in as the Director of National Intelligence. So we have all that and a whole lot more tonight. Stay with me. If we have time, we might get to the phones, and you guys can join the conversation again tonight as well. I know a lot of people enjoyed what we did last night. It was entertaining. I hope it was enlightening in some way. It was certainly therapeutic. I will be right back.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV,
the entire world is watching.
On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Yes, and on the Ukraine front, Trump says he has been talking to Putin. He's saying peace talks are imminent. And then Pete Hegseth said some things today that suggest the whole NATO thing is waning. He says any security guarantees that might be offered to Ukraine as part of these peace talks will have to come from Europe. So it's pretty clear that, as far as Hegseth is concerned anyway, the United States is going to be out at some point. But Trump's his own man, so we will have to assess as we go along. Back to Washington, though, that's where the premiers met with Trump administration official, finance minister, and coming out, we have this now. Here we go.
You guys must be frozen because I feel like I'm frozen. Anyways, I'll just chat along with the two great premiers here. We had a very constructive conversation. We appreciate the Trump administration facilitating this literally in the last minute, and we're grateful. We listened, we communicated, and we look forward to further conversations.
Who did you speak with exactly?
I'd rather not disclose that. High-ranking Trump administration.
Is it James Blair, sir? That has been reported already. It'd be great to get a name out there so we can confirm it for the.
Well, I'm not at liberty to say, to be frank with you, but it's a very high-ranking administration.
What is the takeaway?
Did they give you a sense of how Canada can stave off tariffs? What Canadians, what the government, what the premiers can do?
Well, it's a good conversation, back and forth, and it was a very positive conversation. So we'll see how we move forward. And once all their secretaries get sworn in, then we can move forward. But do you have any comments,
just
gentlemen?
one member of the administration? Just one or several? Can you just give us a sense of where you would
just a couple people.
And I think that's the next things that you can look forward is the Secretary of Commerce will be sworn in. Minister LeBlanc will be working with him, and premiers will be supporting that work and reaching out and doing our own advocacy like we have been for the last day or two.
How long was the meeting, approximately?
Well, since you saw us walk in to right now.
Okay, we didn't know if you got in right away, so over an hour.
They were very generous. And we're very grateful, by the way. People don't get last-minute meetings like this, so we're very grateful. And it just shows the relationship that we have and the respect they have in Canada, regarding Canada. And they've said it numerous times, how they respect Canada and really appreciate the friendship over the years. François, over to you.
Yeah, peut-être en français. Y a-t-il des gens qui sont pour en français? En anglais, in English. We had, like Doug said, we had a good conversation with two people, high level, and we discussed ways to come back with a good relationship between Canada and U.S. and I think we had answers or ways to progress.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
President Trump was at the White House today. Were you disappointed? Were you disappointed he didn't pop in, Premier?
Yeah.
What did you talk about?
We had good conversations with the Deputy Chief of Staff, and he's also the head of policy. And as well as Sergio is doing the hiring for a lot of the White House staff, senior White House advisors. I think the dominant impression is that it was a very significant day at the White House, and yet they still sent two senior reps to meet with us. It was a good conversation. I thought it was constructive. There were some very frank moments across the table, and they urged us to take the president at his word. And so we will certainly do that.
Do you feel that the tariffs are inevitable when you say take the president at his word?
Well, when he talks about his concern about the border, about issues of fentanyl, the need for us to work on those things, that we should take that very seriously. That the engagement that he's having is about ensuring that the United States is respected and not taken advantage of in terms of trade and relations around the world, and that we should see things through that lens, and so we shall.
Are any of the things that we're doing moving the needle in any way, like the fentanyl czar, etc.?
Well, my impression was that there was an understanding that what Canada had done around the border had caught the president's attention, resulted in the pause, but that work needed to continue, and that we should continue to return for these meetings and discussions, especially once the key personnel were confirmed, for us to be able to engage with a little more constructively.
I understand that Canadian premiers are paying $85,000 a month for lobbying here in Washington. Are we getting bang for our buck there? Are these meetings significant enough to pay that kind of money?
Well, I think it's really important that we're in these rooms and we're having these conversations with key personnel. This was a meeting on short notice with senior decision makers in the White House on a day in which the president's actively engaged with Ukraine and Russia. So I was glad for the conversation. I'm glad they made the time, and we'll continue to have this engagement.
Premier, you mentioned frank discussions. What frank aspects did you put forward? Did the premiers put forward? Was there any concerns about Trump's ongoing comments about Canada being the 51st state?
Yeah, we had frank conversations where about the 51st state comment, where we underlined that was a non-starter. That was obviously consistent among all the premiers, for my part, just underlining how important it was to share information and concerns related to fentanyl on the border with the premiers as well. There are enforcement actions that we can take to make sure that information is flowing. If these are the key points of frustration for the president, we want to take action on those things too.
Premier Evie, I think the public might find it weird that you're not saying who you met with. Was there some sort of agreement that you weren't going to name the officials? Like, why can't you just tell us who you met with?
Yeah, no, it's James Blair and Sergio. I forget Sergio's last name. He's the head of personnel for the White House. No, that's all right. Yeah, no, I understand they would find that weird. We knew we were meeting with Mr. Blair. We didn't know we would be meeting with Sergio as well. It was a very fluid moment, and we weren't sure who was going to come in actually.
And did they promise to send your message back to the president? I think there's a lot of questions about whether it's actually getting through to the person who makes the decision.
Yep, they committed to share our message of willingness to engage and to work on key areas of agreement, and that Canada would never be the 51st state.
One more question.
What happens now? You've had your meeting. Did you pledge to talk again in the future? Are you going to come up with some sort of other kind of security plan to discuss?
Yeah, their key suggestion for us was once their key personnel were confirmed, the Commerce Secretary, Trade Secretary, that will be in a much better position to engage, and that we should continue to meet and come back, especially once that had happened.
Okay.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Here are Canada's top 3 matches.
So, you saw that was David Eby there, British Columbia. And here's Trudeau also saying that Canada is a 51st state non-starter. Let's go to the Prime Minister now.
Count on Canada. Our economic partnerships must also be deepened to allow for further growth, to create more opportunities for our workers and entrepreneurs, to give more choice to consumers, and to strengthen the middle class. That's what we're doing elsewhere in the world with our Indo-Pacific strategy, the CPTPP, and free trade agreements we've recently negotiated with Ecuador and Indonesia, among others. That's what we'll achieve here with the Canada-EU Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement that has already increased trade between our countries by 66% over the past 9 years. When, in 2016, we signed both CETA and Canada's strategic partnership with Europe, nobody knew just how much turmoil lay ahead of us. In the following years, this strengthened collaboration, on top of its economic benefits, has been crucial as we work to protect the health and safety of our citizens during the pandemic and to support the Ukrainian people in their fight for freedom, justice, and democracy. Un des nombreux exemples de l'impact stratégique et économique de ces liens, de plus en plus profonds, est l'achat par l'Union européenne de bombardiers à eau produits par l'entreprise canadienne de Havilland qui combattent aujourd'hui les feux de forêt à travers l'Europe. Only a few weeks ago, I attended the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. This visit was another reminder of the importance of these partnerships, of international institutions that, in the past decades, have made the difference between prosperity and poverty, between war and peace. We cannot take these institutions for granted. We must renew and deepen our engagement towards them. That's what we're doing here today. In turbulent times, we all need reliable, trustworthy partners, and that's what Canada is. That's who Canadians are. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We'll now go over questions from reporters.
Hi, Rachel Aiello, CTV News. What was J.D. Vance's response when you brought up steel in Ohio, and did you two talk about anything else?
It was just a quick greeting exchange. I highlighted that $2.2 billion worth of steel and aluminum exports from Canada go directly into the Ohio economy, often to contribute to manufacturing that happens there. He nodded and noted it, but it wasn't a longer exchange than that. But it is part of the Team Canada effort that wherever Canadians are, whether it's premiers in Washington today or officials or ministers exchanging with their counterparts in the U.S. administration, we bring up just how interconnected our countries are. And the fact, for example, that we're talking about potential job losses in the U.S. Based on these tariffs on steel and aluminum is not mere speculation. We know that that will happen because that's exactly what happened last time tariffs were brought in on steel and aluminum in 2018. There were job losses in the United States. 75,000 fewer jobs in the U.S. because of tariffs they brought in on steel and aluminum, and those tariffs were even lower than the ones they're contemplating bringing in right now. So anytime we have an opportunity, we will be highlighting those facts and doing everything we can to prevent moving forward with this policy that will hurt both Americans and Canadians.
And a series of world leaders have gone to the White House to meet with President Trump since his return. Have you had any conversations with him about you going down to D.C., trying to sort out your tensions in person?
We have talked about that. As you know, we have had many different conversations over the past many months, including two pretty important ones last week. We will continue to engage at all levels and make the case that Canada, as an ally and a partner, is a country that they want to continue to work constructively and productively with as we take on big challenges on the global stage.
Prochaine question.
Bonjour, Monsieur le Premier ministre. Valérie Gavache de Radio-Canada. Concernant les tarifs, est-ce que la Maison-Blanche vous a fait des demandes, quand on parle d'une exemption, là, est-ce qu'il y a des demandes qui ont été faites ou vous naviguez à l'aveugle actuellement?
C'est un peu les conversations qu'on est en train d'avoir.
All right, so that's enough. You know, for a lame duck, he's, you know, pretty active. It doesn't matter what he does. People are cutting him down right now. It's very difficult, I think, for him to maneuver that way. But going to Europe and the AI conference gave him an opportunity to meet with other EU leaders. I think that's the right approach. We heard yesterday, too, about all the different countries Canada has been engaging in to enhance trade relationships with other countries aside from the United States in order to mitigate any possible damage from these tariffs, which appear imminent. It's encouraging to see the premiers down in Washington meeting, trying to bring things back to somewhere onto the road, because we've gone off into the weeds somehow. So that's all very encouraging, I would say. That's my opinion. And hopefully we can avoid a disaster here, because that's what is in the works if we continue moving toward these massive tariffs. And as I said, a massive wave of patriotism sweeping over Canada. In fact, it's affecting polls. Let me just show you here if I can find it. You know, the Conservatives have been way out in front. It looked like, you know, if an election had been held, say, a couple of weeks ago even, or even a week ago, days ago maybe even, what you would have been looking at is a record majority government for the Conservative Party. But now it is absolutely how is it characterized by the Toronto Sun today? I think they're calling it a knife fight. A dog fight, certainly. I can't find their editorial. They were bringing that up, but that's the point. And yeah, it's neck and neck now. And that's depending on who the leader is. That's assuming Mark Carney is selected by the Liberals to be their leader heading into the next election. So it ain't over till it's over, as they say. Now, they did mention as well, I should show you this first, I guess. Defense Minister Bill Blair, Canada's defense minister, still, here's a guy who is saying what? He's saying that Trump's annexation talk is not a real threat. Now, why would he say that when Trump is saying otherwise? And when the premiers were just told again that we should be taking Trump at his word, and the premiers are saying they are? Well, I'll tell you why, even though it says here that Blair met with President Donald Trump's. He says that President Donald Trump talk of turning Canada into the 51st state is, quote, not a real threat. Well, the Prime Minister said again, there isn't a snowball's chance in hell of that happening. They were both in Brussels at that NATO and European allies, members of the Ukraine Defense Contract Group, and they had a breakfast meeting with NATO Secretary Mark Rutte. And I'll tell you why he's saying that, because he doesn't want to stir the pot any more than it needs to be stirred. He wants to try to bring the temperature down just a little bit. That's why. That is why. And then just a short time ago at the White House, Caroline Leavitt, Trump's new press secretary, giving us the latest now on what's going on with the war in Ukraine. And we're beginning to see a pivot here, I think. And that is because Trump has been talking to Putin. He has indicated that peace talks are imminent. It's looking maybe like Zelensky and Ukraine might just be left out of these talks. So let's go to the White House.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see all of you on this very newsy day, to say the least. I have a couple of updates for you this morning, or this afternoon. As you know, this morning, the president spoke to President Putin of Russia. They spoke at length, and the president released a statement following that conversation in great detail. I can also confirm that the president just recently got off the phone with President Zelensky of Ukraine. His truth is as follows. I just spoke to President Zelensky of Ukraine. The conversation went very well. He, like President Putin, wants to make peace. We discussed a variety of topics having to do with the war, but mostly the meeting that is being set up on Friday in Munich, where Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead the delegation. I am hopeful that the results of that meeting will be positive. It is time to stop this ridiculous war where there has been massive and totally unnecessary death and destruction. God bless the people of Russia and Ukraine. I myself just spoke to the president about these calls, and he told me to tell all of you they were very good calls, they were very positive, and the administration is wholeheartedly committed to a peace deal to end once and for all the Russia-Ukraine war. More on that later. I'm sure you'll have more questions to ask. This week, the president has continued to deliver on his promises to the American people. According to new polling that was released at the beginning of this week by CBS News, an overwhelming 70% of Americans said that President Trump is following through on what he pledged to do during his historic campaign. The poll also revealed that Americans see President Trump as a tough, energetic, focused, and effective leader fighting hard to improve their lives and our country. And yesterday, in particular, was a truly special day for the United States of America. Thanks to the great leadership of President Trump and the strong and tough leadership of President Trump, Mark Fogel, an American teacher detained by Russia, was returned to American soil and met with the president here at the White House last night. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and the rest of President Trump's incredible national security team helped to negotiate the exchange that secured Mark Fogel's release. This event shows a good faith effort from Russia, and it's a sign, as I just said, that we are moving in the right direction to end this brutal war. Malphine Fogel, Mark's 95-year-old mother, was understandably very worried that she would never see her son again after his arrest in 2021. Mrs. Fogel was actually slated to join President Trump on stage at the July 13th Butler, Pennsylvania rally to speak out for Mark. And then the infamous assassination attempt against President Trump took place. But that day, before the rally, President Trump promised Mark's mother that when he returned to the White House, he would bring her son home. God saved President Trump's life on that day in Butler, Pennsylvania, and now Mark Fogel is back home safely with his family as a result. God is good. The president also continues to bring back common sense to our government. This week, he signed an EO to end the procurement and forced use of paper straws. Taxpayer dollars were wasted on these non-functional and massively unpopular products for no other reason than it made radical activists feel good about themselves. And on trade, President Trump continues to take bold action to protect America's critical steel and aluminum industries, much like he did in his first term. And the president signed proclamations to close existing loopholes and exemptions to restore a true 25% tariff on steel and elevate the tariff on aluminum to 25% as well. This administration believes these tariffs will protect our national security and put American workers first. And in the Oval Office yesterday with Elon Musk, President Trump took further action to make our federal government more efficient and effective. He signed an EO implementing the DOGE Workforce Optimization Initiative. Now agency heads will coordinate and consult with DOGE to significantly shrink the size of the federal workforce, and limit hiring to essential positions only. The unaccountable bureaucracy will finally be reined in. On another important matter this morning, Senate Republicans continued to confirm President Trump's exceptionally qualified nominees, most recently Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, who will be joining us later at the White House for her swearing-in ceremony. It's imperative that the remainder of the president's cabinet nominees are confirmed as quickly as possible. On another important matter this week, illegal alien criminals continue to be arrested and sent home as part of the ongoing mass deportation effort of the Trump administration. Just this week, 2 planes with 190 Venezuelan illegal aliens arrived in the Venezuelan capital from Fort Bliss, Texas. Here are some of the criminal illegal aliens who were arrested in the country this past week. ICE Atlanta arrested a citizen of Nigeria who had been convicted of money laundering. ICE San Antonio arrested a citizen of Mexico who had been convicted of assault. ICE Denver arrested a citizen of Mexico who had been convicted of aggravated assault. And ICE Houston arrested a citizen of Mexico who had been convicted of aggravated assault. Now, before I take questions, I would like to address an extremely dishonest narrative that we've seen emerging over the past few days. Many outlets in this room have been fear-mongering the American people into believing there is a constitutional crisis taking place here at the White House. I've been hearing those words a lot lately. But in fact, the real constitutional crisis is taking place within our judicial branch, where district court judges in liberal districts across the country are abusing their power to unilaterally block President Trump's basic executive authority. We believe these judges are acting as judicial activists rather than honest arbiters of the law. And they have issued at least 12 injunctions against this administration in the past 14 days, often without citing any evidence or grounds for their lawsuits. This is part of a larger concerted effort by Democrat activists and nothing more than the continuation of the weaponization of justice against President Trump. Quick news flash to these liberal judges who are supporting their obstructionist efforts: 77 million Americans voted to elect this president. And each injunction is an abuse of the rule of law and an attempt to thwart the will of the people. As the president clearly stated in the Oval Office yesterday, we will comply with the law in the courts, but we will also continue to seek every legal remedy to ultimately overturn these radical injunctions and ensure President Trump's policies can be enacted. So here in our new media seat today, we have Chris Pavlovsky, an entrepreneur who has a strong passion for protecting freedom of speech.
Okay. All right, okay. So, plastic straws, because they just make liberals feel good about themselves. And we have that hostage. What's his name again? I gotta look up his name here. What's his name? I'm sorry, it's just slipping my mind. Mark Fogel, right, Mark Fogel. In exchange, which he didn't mention, is there is a Russian money launderer that Trump released. His name escapes me as well. What's his name? I'm looking that up for you too. So it was a 1-for-1 Alexander Vinnick, right? Arrested back in 2017 on charges related to laundering billions of dollars using Bitcoin. And he's leaving behind something like $121 million in digital assets. And why was Fogel arrested to begin with? The charges in Russia were related to him going back into the country, and he was caught with an amount of marijuana, which he says he was using for medical purposes because of back pain. I would put it to you that it was really related more to the school where he was teaching. As I looked into it overnight, he was teaching at basically a private school where a lot of diplomats would send their children, including American diplomats. I know South Korea also sent students there. So that's the kind of place that it was. And the school recently shut down by Russia because of the kinds of things they were teaching. Their operations were suspended for a while because they were teaching about LGBTQ stuff, which I think runs contrary to some Russian laws, anti-gay laws that they have in Russia. And I think they also have concerns just about ideological things that are taught at the school. It's no longer in operation there. Fogel, of course, arrested and now released. So diplomats, government stuff at the school. He gets arrested for the marijuana, 14-year prison sentence. Seems pretty harsh for just a small amount of marijuana, but that's what he was facing. And all this diplomacy. And I think he's the first hostage. I shouldn't say hostage. I should say prisoner released as part of Trump's efforts to engage in diplomatic efforts with Putin. And his diplomacy is, I guess, extending now into what's going on with Ukraine. We're told, as you just heard, that peace talks are imminent, but he is saying that as far as he's concerned, no NATO membership for Ukraine. I don't think Zelensky is happy about that at all. Not sure where this is going to go. That is what's being reported tonight. We have a clip. He says he's okay with that. He doesn't think it's realistic. Here, I'll show you.
Do you oppose NATO membership for Ukraine?
I don't think it's practical to have it, personally. I know that our new Secretary of Defense, who's excellent, Pete, made a statement today saying that he thinks it's unlikely or impractical. I think probably that's true. I think long before President Putin, they said there's no way they'd allow that. This has been going on for many, many years. They've been saying that for a long time, that Ukraine cannot go into NATO. And I'm okay with that. I just want the war, whether they are or they're not. But it certainly would seem to be that most people have said that that is something that's not going to happen.
And we've got Hegseth here too. I've got that clip. So I'll share that with you tonight. Here we go.
The United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement. Instead, any security guarantee must be backed by capable European and non-European troops. If these troops are deployed as peacekeepers to Ukraine at any point, they should be deployed as part of a non-NATO mission, and they should not be covered under Article 5. There also must be robust international oversight of the line of contact. To be clear, as part of any security guarantee, there will not be U.S. troops deployed to Ukraine.
I don't know. We'll see where these talks go. I think these are significant statements and definitely a departure from where we were at with Biden. And we'll be providing more analysis on it in the days ahead as we get more information and things become a little bit clearer, I hope. So peace talks there imminent, or so it appears. And I'll tell you, things in the Middle East, though, somewhat different. Looks like things there could blow up very easily again. This ceasefire, I think, is about to fly apart. Hamas saying they will not release all Israeli hostages by this Saturday. They say they are committed to their original schedule. And Trump, though, has made it very, very clear that if those hostages are not free by Saturday at noon, the ceasefire should be canceled, and in his words, all hell is going to break loose. So looking to me like it's inevitable that the ceasefire is going to fail, and we're going to be back to fighting. And while Trump is saying there won't be U.S. boots on the ground in there, I'm not sure how he's going to realize his dream of building hotels and turning Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East unless they remove a lot of those Palestinians by force. I get a really bad feeling about this. And it seems to me that with this behavior, this language, and basically ignoring the terms of the ceasefire, and trying to ramp things up and step things up, and accelerate the release of these hostages with a threat, it looks to me like things are becoming inflamed. So we'll see how that goes by this Saturday. By Saturday at 12:01, who knows? We could see a return to hostilities and more tragedy. Here's Trump making, with this address today to the people of Jordan.
To the great people of Jordan, you're a spectacular group. I have to tell you, you're very, very fantastic people with tremendous brilliance and energy. I want to just say that you have a king who is a tremendous man. He's a leader. He's got a wonderful heart. He loves you so much. He loves his country. He's done amazingly. King Abdullah is one of the true great leaders of the world. And I just want to tell you, you're lucky to have him. And I say that from my heart. You are very, very lucky to have him. And God bless you all. You have a great life. You have a great king.
And that's coming off yesterday's meeting between Trump and the King of Jordan. And here's that headline that I was going to show you earlier, which I couldn't find. This is the editorial from the Toronto Sun by, I don't know who wrote this. Doesn't really matter. The headline is really what the point is. Says, election cakewalk, now a knife fight. Yes, things have changed almost overnight. Amazing. I mean, Poilievre had that double-digit lead over Trudeau, who is a lame duck prime minister at this point, on his way out. And we're seeing new polling coming out now. Putting everything neck and neck. So, I can't see Trudeau being there. He's initiated the process. You have the leadership contest ongoing now. Mark Carney appears to be the heir apparent. That's what the polling has largely been based on, is if he becomes the leader of the Liberals, then you could see either a minority Liberal or maybe even, I saw one poll that suggested we could end up with a majority Liberal government. I think the numbers are being cooked a bit, frankly, to favor the Liberals. So again, we're just going to have to sit back and wait and see how accurate any of this stuff is. Let's take a little break. We're going to come back. I've got a lot more stuff to cover tonight. No shortage of news.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
A lot of other stuff has happened this week too. Fort Bragg again. They've done away with the politically correct name change, and they've gone back to Fort Bragg. I think that happened yesterday when Pete Hegseth signed the paperwork on that. And today, the Department of Veteran Affairs has issued a new policy banning the display of non-official flags at VA facilities, limiting flags to U.S. state, military, and POW MIA banners. Effectively, what it means is that you're not going to see any Pride or BLM flags or anything like that. I guess any flags really of any other, well, just no other flags, period. So the obvious goal here is to get rid of the practice of flying other flags like the Pride flag and BLM. Here's the memorandum on that one. To establish more consistent and clear guidance across the department and among all employees, VA is instituting a new policy effective immediately, limiting the display of flags beyond the United States flag at VA facilities. So you only can have, in addition to the American flag, VA facilities employees are authorized to display or depict the following representational flags: flags of U.S. states and territories or the District of Columbia, military service flags, VA flags, official branded flag of a U.S. agency, presidentially appointed Senate-confirmed flags, prisoner of war, missing in action flag, senior executive service and military department-specific SES flags, ceremonial command unit or branch flags, and burial flags to honor a veteran or reservist. Of course, we've seen this issue play out in municipal councils across Canada and the United States. A lot of this really was initiated, these kinds of movements in Canada. In fact, the community I live in right here, one of our local councillors, a friend of mine, was one of the first to kind of take that issue forward, and boy, did she take flack for that. Oh my goodness. Rhonda Jubinville, you remember Rhonda? She was on the show a couple of times talking about it. People got so upset knowing that she is a lady of faith. They made a donation to the Church of Satan in her name, and then put the correspondence that comes back after you make a donation. You get like a thank you thing or an acknowledgement that you've made this donation to the Church of Satan, and they left that on her station where she sits at the local council meetings. It's obviously pretty offensive to her. I didn't think it was very cool. Chuck Schumer tonight. We've got a clip from him. He's upset about Tulsi Gabbard's confirmation before going over to be sworn in as the Director of National Intelligence. Chuck Schumer expressed his concern and disappointment. Let's listen into Mr. Schumer. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Chuck Schumer.
Objectively, I think most senators would agree there are better choices to lead national intelligence. You know what my guess is? If we had a secret ballot, Gabbard might get 10 votes and 40 against her from the other side. People know That's why they raise so many questions. But Donald Trump and Elon Musk evidently threatened them, and they're changing their view. Objectively, I think most senators would agree there are better choices to lead national intelligence. You know what my guess is? If we had a secret ballot, Gabbard might get 10 votes and 40 against her from the other side. People know.
Okay, so people, Democrats concerned about her thinking she might be a possible security risk because of her contact in the past with Assad, her statements on Russia. But here she is at the White House, Attorney General swearing her in, and Trump looking on. This is the way it went down today.
I, Tulsi Gabbard, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
I take this obligation freely,
without
And that is that. She's in. Confirmed. So, if the Democrats are right, all the secrets are going to Russia. And if they're wrong, then I guess everything will be okay. Looks like we've got some pretty seriously nasty weather on the way. Pearson International Airport. I'm seeing a report there that they are bracing for a significant amount of snowfall. Where I'm at here in southern Ontario, very, very cold tonight, but it looks like in many places across Canada, certainly in Ontario, we are looking at some significant snowfall and frigid temperatures in some areas, so brace yourselves. It's on the way. My dog loves it. Don't understand. He just, I don't know how he does it. Just don't know. All day. He just wants to stay outside all day in the cold. Steve Bannon. Didn't get to mention this the other night, but I'll mention it tonight. He pled guilty to, do I have it up here? Let me get you I'm going to show you the one of the headlines on NBC. He pled guilty to that scam he was running. Build the Wall. You may recall, maybe you don't. When Trump's wall was basically being blocked and he was having trouble and it wasn't getting done, then Bannon went out and was part of this Build the Wall effort. It was like a campaign, and he was trying to raise, or said he was trying to raise money to finish Trump's wall. Millions of dollars were donated. This whole thing has been, weight around his neck for a long time. Trump can't pardon him on this because the charges were filed at the state level. Anyway, he entered a plea of guilty because he was, and I remember Trump distancing himself from the whole thing as soon as it started. He indicated immediately that he did not like what Bannon was doing. And, a lot of money. I can't remember exactly. How much money was it that he raised from this? It was... Oh, my goodness. I don't even know if they're telling us here in this article. But he said that 100% of the donations would go toward building the wall. And he used this to receive more than $1 million of wall building funds and used that money to pay the wall group's president. So the money didn't go to the wall. And that is one of the main reasons they got themselves into hot water. Now, that's not why he went to jail before. If you're confused about that, he went to jail before on a contempt of Congress charge for refusing to testify before a House Select Committee investigating the J6 event, Capitol demonstrations. And he did that to protect President Trump. And I know a lot, today when I was speaking to people about this, people, the memories fade a little bit, right? And they were like, is he still friends with Trump? And yeah, I mean, he was part of the original Trump team on Trump 1.0 administration, but they had some sort of a falling out. You may recall Trump kind of turning on Bannon, and he started to call Steve Bannon sloppy Steve Bannon, attacked him after he fired him. And originally, he was an integral part of the whole Trump machine. But it did fall apart. But Bannon stuck with Trump through it all. He never really deviated. Not too much. And even when he went to jail, he stood by Trump. He didn't sell him out. He, whatever it was that they wanted from him, he wasn't going to give it up. And Trump did pardon him on some other charges. And that's why he's still out free. And in exchange for his freedom, he has certain conditions, like he can't be part of any fundraising effort for a not-for-profit organization in New York State for a number of years, and there are some other conditions as well. So I don't know, that whole thing, man, that made me feel very uncomfortable as well. Even some people who are propped up as heroes sometimes fall. And I know that he has been a hero of people on the conservative side within MAGA circles, even now, still very popular, very smart guy. I used to like him more than I do now, but that's just because I'm learning more and more about him. So I find flaws and things about his ideology that don't really align with mine in some ways. I used to hold him in much, much higher regard, but if you're going to steal money from people, then I kind of lose a little bit of respect. Just saying. Speaking of money, Denmark wants to buy California. This is their response, or this is a response from a group of people who are running this campaign. Denmarkification. Let's buy California from Trump, Denmark's next big adventure. So you can go online to denmarkification.com and contribute to this if you want to, I guess. I don't think they're actually raising money. I think it's more like a petition. It says, if you ever looked at a map and thought, you know what Denmark needs? More sunshine, palm trees, and roller skates. Well, we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make that dream a reality. Let's buy California from Donald Trump. Yes, you heard that right. California could be ours, and we need your help to make it happen. So you can fill it out. It says here, yes, I pinky swear I'd pitch in. Keep me informed via email. Or, no, I have commitment issues. Why California? Sunshine galore. Let's face it, Denmark's weather is, well, let's just say it's cozy. California has 300 days of sunshine a year. Imagine swapping your rain boots for flip-flops. Tech dominance. Gaining an extra bunch of tech bros? Great. It is what every democracy needs. Avocado toast forever. California grows 90% of the U.S.'s avocados. That's right, we'll never run out of avocado toast. To protect the free world. Most people say we have the best freedom. Colossal freedom. Disneyland, we'll rename it Hans Christian Andersland. Mickey Mouse is in a Viking helmet. Yes, please. And why Trump might sell? Well, let's be honest. Trump isn't exactly California's biggest fan. He's called it, quote, the most ruined state in the union, and he has feuded with its leaders for years. We're pretty sure he'd be willing to part with it for the right price. And hey, we'll even throw in a lifetime supply of Danish pastries to sweeten the deal. As for the will of the citizens, well, let's face it. When has that ever stopped him? If Trump wants to sell California, he'll sell California. This is hilarious. But scary because so much weirdness out there, and he's serious. He's serious. Oh my. Yeah, let's take over Greenland. Let's buy Greenland. Even though Denmark says it's not for sale. Don't go away.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay. Speaking of Greenland, Buddy Carter unveils bill empowering Trump to acquire Greenland and rename it Red, White, and Blue Land. Here's the New York Post article on it. Oh, and this is real. He passed. He's got this proposed bill up that would authorize Trump to go ahead and acquire Greenland.
Saying is pretty accurate. He's saying a joke. Like what he is saying is pretty accurate. People don't talk about it for years. We do have, this is not about acquiring land for the purpose of acquiring land. This is in our national interest and it needs to be solved. President Trump's put out there what he intends to do, which is to purchase it. I wasn't privy to that phone call, but I imagine the phone call went the way a lot of these phone calls go, and that is he just speaks bluntly and frankly with people. And ultimately, I think diplomacy in many cases works better when you're straightforward as opposed to using platitudes and language that translates to nothing.
Well, he's being pretty blunt. I want to buy Greenland. If you don't sell it to me, I'm going to take it by force. So yeah, this Republican, Buddy Carter, he has this new legislation. He tabled it on Monday to empower President Trump to enter negotiations to purchase or otherwise acquire Greenland, to rename the icy island Red, White, and Blue Land. Oh my gosh. America is back and soon be bigger than ever with the addition of Red, White, and Blue Land, Carter said in a statement. I'm laughing, but, you know, it's serious. Oh, the Don Rowe Doctrine. Yeah. The world according to Don. The great Don. Sounds kind of mafioso, doesn't it? The Don. Here, let's go back to this. I've got more on Red, White, and Blue Land right here. It's caused a bit of a viral moment on social media. Here's X RT for Red, White, and Blue Land. Red, White, and Blue Land, USA. And Nordic Takeover on Fox News. Buddy Carter has thrown his support behind President Trump's quest to acquire Greenland and has taken a step in Americanizing the country's name. Oh, Captain Picard, Jean-Luc, is not obviously very impressed. To me, it seems like completely unnecessary, but hey, whatever. Oh, and while we're at it, here's some weather footage that we can share with you tonight. snow is on its way in, folks. Of course, it depends on where you're watching from. It's on its way in where I'm at. Yeah, this is Port Stanley on Lake Erie, just outside of London, Ontario, my original hometown. Yeah, pretty nasty out there, folks. She's a windy and a cold, and those lake winds can get pretty nasty. You ever go to the? I don't know if you ever had the opportunity to go to one of the Great Lakes in the winter when it's frozen over. It's a little eerie. I don't mean that as a pun. That just kind of came out. Lake Erie. It is eerie to me to go there because I don't know. Especially if you go there at night. And sometimes you can hear the ice creak, depending on what the weather is like. Who here has ever gone ice fishing? Anybody into ice fishing? Boy, when I worked for CTV, once a year at least, sometimes twice, I'd have to go out and do stories on ice fishing. Often I would do that out in Mitchell's Bay. Mitchell's Bay. But if you go ice fishing any place, folks, you check the thickness of the ice. Be very, very careful so you do not fall through. Make sure it is safe. Every year, in addition to doing stories about ice fishing, there was always somebody who went through the ice. And more years than not, there was always a story to be done on someone who was lost. So please, just as I sit here thinking about it, I've seen too much of that over the years. Not in recent years because I haven't been out there doing it, but it can be dangerous, but it can be safe as long as you do it safely. A lot of perch up for grabs out in Mitchell's Bay. Kind of a shallow bay, part of the Great Lakes system. And my old friend Red Fisher, who used to have a TV show, the Red Fisher Show, that he did from a place that he called Scuttlebutt Lodge. It was on every weekend, and this was old-time television on weekends. And he lived out in Mitchell's Bay. He said it was the best fishing in the entire world. He should have known back in those days because he was a professional angler. Just a little blast from the past, my personal past, sharing with you tonight. Yeah. What else we got going on here? What can I share with you tonight? I think we're kind of getting to the end of the major stuff. So how about this? Why don't we take a little break? Give me a moment here to set up the live portion of the program. We can take a few phone calls before we wrap things up tonight. So what I'll do, I think, is maybe play a tune, get you guys in the mood. The other night I said, we were, engaging in a little nostalgia, talking about yesteryear and the before times. And I was looking for this song, Frankenrod. Actually, it was a song that I originally played back in Halloween, but I don't know, everything seems so disjointed right now. It might even be appropriate to play it right now. So let me take a break. I'm going to share Frankenrod with you by Maverick and the News Brothers, and I'll be back on the other side with our call-in show tonight here on the Maverick News Channel. Stay with me.
Junkyard, piece by piece, welded together, can't find no peace. Hood from the Chevy, tail from the Ford, rising like a demon that you can't ignore. Chrome from the past, rust in its veins, blowing off racks, now it's going insane. Wheels spin wild, headlights gleam, it's alive, it's a twisted metal dream. When the lightning strikes and the engines roar, you know it's coming back for more. A beast of bolts with a heart of steel. Car, you're too real. Franken car turned the red night, stitched together, ready for the fight. Dark and twisted, you don't care with a
I think that's hilarious. Franken Carr. Okay, so we're ready to start taking calls, but I should probably just touch on a couple of things. Here's that Buddy Carter thing with his proposed legislation to give Trump the authority to go ahead and acquire Greenland. This is his website. Yep. And while all that's happening, we also have the federal government in Canada now appointing that fentanyl czar that Trump has been demanding. So the guy for the job is Kevin Brosseau. He's a former, I think he's a former Mountie. Yeah, former senior Mountie. He's going to be the guy to stop the spread of deadly fentanyl. So that's about what we know there. I know that Danielle Smith was like, "Where's the fentanyl czar, Justin Trudeau?" She was kind of making an issue out of it, saying he was dragging his feet, but we've got him now. Still not clear where we're going to end up with these tariffs, though. I know that the Bank of Canada is saying that just the talk of these tariffs is already dragging down the Canadian economy, and I don't doubt that a bit. I think it's probably having some negative impacts on the U.S. economy, too. And I wish that wasn't so, because a lot of jobs are on the line. And a lot of people are very worried about what's going to happen to our country. Now, if you want to weigh in on that conversation again tonight, or if there are other issues on your mind, I don't really want to talk about the burning churches again tonight, though. If our friend from wherever it is you call from, if you want to call in, can we talk about something else tonight? Find another issue? We've beaten that one over the head many, many times here on the program. Oh, and I have to say, too, thank you, Lindy, for the donation yesterday. I am so grateful for that, because we really, really need the help right now. It's coming in at a time when it's really, really needed and immensely appreciated, humbling, and thank you. Thank you so much. That being said, if you want to support what we're doing here, you can donate at freedomreporters.com. Let me just get it up on the screen for you here. There it is, freedomreporters.com. I'll put it on the ticker on the bottom. Also, please like, share, subscribe. Oh, you know what I should do too? We have the secondary Maverick News channel running on YouTube this evening. Let me find that for you. Here we go. Oh, yes. I'm going to put the link in the chat. And I know that it's up and firing, so I've got that finally worked out. And if you guys would please consider going over to this channel to watch tonight as the broadcast continues. It doesn't get nearly the amount of attention or traffic that I would like it to, but it's very beneficial, helpful to us if you can watch over here. I'm going to put this in the chat, the link. First, the link on YouTube. Bam. There it goes. Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed to that channel, that would be extremely helpful if you could, please. Just go watch it over on that YouTube channel instead of the one you're on. Same feed. Same feed, different channel. Tastes great, less filling. Yeah, simple as that. Now let me put this in the chat over on Rumble as well. And Bam. And again, oh, there you are, Lindy. You're in the chat over on Rumble. Thank you, and thank you, yes, again. And I don't know, Johnny says, didn't Jacques Cousteau die from bathtub action? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yes, and he's pointing out, too, that the car show is this weekend in Toronto. Yes, the Canadian International Auto Show. Boy, I'll tell you, the auto show circuit has shrunk. Everything has changed since the pandemic. The auto industry has changed immensely. It's killed off a lot of auto shows. So if you're in the area, yeah, go take in that Canadian International Auto Show. It's a lot of fun. They have the newest vehicles there. They have some concept cars. They always have Lego, like full-size, life-size cars made out of Lego, all kinds of different attractions. And it is one of the biggest events of the year. One of the largest, I think it's the largest consumer trade show in Canada. And like many others, it was suspended during the pandemic. And some of them just haven't come back. I was always involved with the auto show up in Ottawa. And we, keep trying to bring it back, but we weren't able to do it again this year, in part because of all the uncertainty that has been unleashed on the auto industry in Canada. Normally would be held in March, but again, this year in Ottawa, canceled. So very disappointed about that. We've rescheduled. Maybe we'll see it happen next year in 2026. Keep kicking it down the road. Hasn't happened there since the pandemic. Things just aren't right. Let's get the number up on the screen, shall we? And yeah, again, thank you for donating, folks. Really, really appreciate it. Did you hear that new song from Maverick and the News Brothers off the top? Freedom for All? Yeah, that's something that I've been thinking about. Freedom for one depends on freedom for all. Because if freedom is denied to anyone, it's denied to you as well. It's denied to all of us. So, and George says, I'm pretty calm tonight. I must be taking my meds. Thanks for noticing. Hang on here. Okay. Yeah, Bond says the electric vehicle agenda messed up the auto sector. Yes, it did. It changed everything. For a variety of reasons that we won't get into here tonight. That we will not get into tonight. All right. I'm going to put the phone number up on the screen here for you now. You can call in and join the conversation now at this number. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Exercise your right to free speech. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. That's right, and you can call in now at 1-647-734-4220. And then when prompted, when the automated system picks up, just punch in 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Let's pick up this first call of the evening. Hang on just a moment. Let me get it up on the screen for everybody. Hello, who's on the line?
You got a good old dragon, as always.
How are you tonight, Sir Dragon?
I'm doing excellent. And actually, you know what? You spoke about the auto show that is, rounding up around here. So they'll be on Montreal, Palais des Congrès, from the 17th of January to the 26th. So if you're interested, I could probably bring my camera around zone.
In January? You mean, yeah, I mean, it's every January, so we missed it.
Did I miss it? Oh,
If
damn.
it's January,
Well, you know
yeah.
what? Yeah, I just missed it. Oh, that's so darn. I should have gone there. Already.
Don't
missed
worry,
it.
folks. Here on Maverick News, we bring you last month's car show today. That's all right.
Well, that's a good segment for what you called again the conspiracy show, right?
Yeah, there you go. Oh, so what's on your mind tonight?
Oh, well, Trump, poor guy. He's going on a full extent of his own imperialist way of thought, right? I mean, Jesus Christ. This guy is giving me an headache.
Every day. It's just a nonstop thing now. And a lot of people very worried. Like I know here tonight there was a meeting of the local Chamber of Commerce, and that is the topic of discussion. Tariffs. Everybody's worried about it, and rightly so, because this is a no-win scenario. So extremely
But I
damaging.
mean, I can understand the people. They are angry at Trudeau, who's effectively said that he wanted to resign once they fill up the leadership with somebody else. But the thing is that you got to understand that I'm not okay with Trudeau most of the time, but sometimes he does good things. But you got to give Caesars what Caesars have. I mean, you don't have to be always angry at the guy, even though he's just, a piece of crap. Let's put it this way. So,
Yeah, well, everybody does some good sometimes, right? At some point, but and even good people do bad things sometimes, because we're all human.
Oh, yeah.
It's just it's just whatever.
Nobody's perfect, guys. Aren't we all some misfit?
I think the point here is that right now we need to kind of get over our differences for the moment, or just overlook some of these disputes or differences that we have in order to focus on the main issue at hand right now, which is to try to save our country. Here's somebody else joining us now on the program. Okay, who's joining us now?
Oh, to me, John.
John! How are you? You might want to turn your audio down there so you don't get the feedback.
Last night, coast to coast, I was listening to, you ever heard of Harry Dent?
You mean like from the Batman show?
Harry Dent.
Yeah, that's Two-Face, isn't it? I think that I think that's Two-Face's alter ego.
He's a veteran analyst.
Yeah.
Economy. Yeah. Anyhow, he said before...
You're mistaking with RV Dent, by the way.
They do what?
Rick was misunderstanding with RV Dent, which is the alter ego of Two-Face.
Oh, no. Harry Dent.
Yeah. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, you can Google him. He's all over the internet. He's an old guy. He's saying by 2027, before 2027, the whole economy is going to collapse like you've never seen before. He says the tech stocks are going to fall 70%. He said the regular stocks about 40%. The gold's going to go right down. Everything's going to go. Bitcoin, real estate, like any home, like $2-3 million bucks, it's going to crash. Nobody's going to want to buy it. Those kind of homes. A lot of people are going to be renting. It sounds like we're in tough times with tariffs or no tariffs, Rick. That's what I'm trying to get at.
It could be. Never know. Seems to me like the whole Bitcoin thing is the biggest bubble in history. I think the tech stocks are grossly overvalued. They make up 25% of the stock market. So, yeah, I can see that if they get deflated quickly, then we could be in a whole heap of trouble because there isn't really productive capacity behind it to back it up.
This is a man-made bubble. Okay, and it's one of the biggest bubbles in history.
The biggest.
And when it pops, the whole economy's like we can probably go into a depression. Put it that way.
Could, yeah.
He says it's going to last like 2 years.
Yeah, could.
It's not going to be just like overnight. And
I don't know.
You know?
I mean, I don't know. I think that I think there's merit in that analysis. I don't think it has to be that prolonged. I have a bunch of economic theory behind why I think the duration of it might be shortened, but it depends. I think that what Trump is doing is just daring it to happen. It's like, come on, bring me the depression.
Well, yeah, exactly.
This is terrible.
Biden's had one of the best stock markets in history.
Yes.
It's just gone up. You know, with Biden.
Yep.
And that's probably his legacy is the stock market.
Yeah,
that's about it.
His economy has been better than, largely I've given him credit for, and I think overall, people have given him credit for either. Like, it is actually stronger. He did hand Trump an economy that overall wasn't as bad as people think.
Exactly, but he's going to ruin it all.
Yeah, he's destroying it.
These tariffs are going to hurt everybody.
Yeah, you came to me before and you were saying these Trump tariffs are a terrible thing, and I disagreed with you because I didn't realize at the time, John, that he was planning on doing it to this excess. I thought it was just going to be like targeted tariffs at a few sectors or a few things like Chinese EV vehicles, and maybe a little here and a little there, but not like this. This is like he's just walking around with a tariff sledgehammer, bashing everybody over the head. Did you realize he was going to go to this length?
Yeah, he said he was going to do it, and Musk said that we're going to feel some real pain, and the voters know this, and the voters are okay with it.
It's stupid.
The mega voters are okay with it.
Yeah. Well, maybe they should get some brain transplants then. This is stupid. This is ridiculous.
His approval rating right now, as it stands, 53%.
Yeah.
Trump.
It's not going to stay
everybody
there.
thinks he's doing a good job, and he's doing what he was elected to do.
My opinion is people are going to turn on him because he's going to inflict so much pain on everybody if he follows through with all these threats.
Well, if he pulls it through, then nobody pays taxes, and he'll be a genius.
Except what good is not paying taxes if you can't afford to buy anything or if you're unemployed? Like it's no good. If everything costs, like even if just by imposing tariffs of 25%, your prices are going to go up, close to, I don't know,
Well,
it depends on the economic linkages in each industry, but it's going to result in massive inflation and a reduction in economic output unless companies jump into the U.S. and open factories, which is what I think he really wants.
They want the economy to crash, Rick.
That might be well true. Like you may well be
it's
right.
because of the bricks, the gold. They want the gold to crash. They want the bricks to crash. They want the whole world to crash. They want to change the currency. This is all planned out. Carney and Trudeau, they want it to crash. They're already talking about bringing in universal basic income. They want, like Harry Dent said last night.
Two-Face.
He says they're gonna print money that they don't have like crazy to keep the economy stimulated, like universal basic income. They're gonna print money for it, right?
That's the conspiracy theory version. I think Trump is just being stupid, and he's. This is just so misguided. No need for it. Doesn't have to happen. And the other reason it doesn't have to happen is because we do have new technologies coming online. Productive capacity can increase. The economic system can be made sustainable and extend out indefinitely, but not if you do this kind of crazy stuff. Any economic system, capitalism, any economic system will collapse if you abuse it. And that's what this is. This creates massive market distortions.
They want it to collapse, Rick.
Well, you keep saying that, and maybe they do.
They do. They want it to collapse.
But I would put it to you that if they, and this might be well true with Trump, if he makes it crash and he knows it's going to crash,
he wants it to crash.
Then he and all the people around him will know right when to sell and right when to buy. And then they'll all get filthy rich, and that's what happened after the fall of the Soviet Union. In fact, Professor Jeffrey Sachs is the guy who advocated for what did he call it? Economic shock therapy. So he convinced the Russians to crash their economy intentionally, and then when everything went to nothing, basically, then the Russians handpicked their oligarchs and they allowed them to buy the assets nationally for pennies on the dollar and minted a whole new crop of oligarchs. And it just seems to me that something similar is in the works here. I think that's probably more in line, but either way, it's an intentional crashing of the market. This is disgusting. Yep. I hate it.
I've been telling you for years, and you disagree with me.
Yeah. That's my job.
United States, you disagree with me. Okay, that's fine.
All the time.
But I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
United States, they're number one. And their job is to stay number one.
They're trying to.
And Russia's eating their lunch. Not Russia, China. Is eating their lunch right now.
China, yeah.
With technology, the economy in China is very good right now. Dent says put all your money into, I wrote it down, China, India, those countries. Those are the countries that are going to survive if we have a depression.
Well, if I had any money.
He says he says right now is the best time to if you're up a lot, you cash out and you put it ETFs into China, India, those economies, because those are they're not gonna fall like it's here. Here, he says, once we get hit, everything's gonna crash. The Bitcoin, gold, everything, nothing's gonna survive. Oil, everything.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have one up and one down, one up, one down. They say buy gold when it crashes. Well, he did say buy gold, but I think it's too expensive right now.
It's very expensive. It's at a record high. So, what's the price right now? I'll look it up.
I don't know. It's 22,100 or something. I don't know. But I sold all my gold like an idiot. That's my problem. I sell too early. I make a few bucks and I'm out.
Yeah. $2,902, almost $3,000 an ounce, like $2,900 an ounce.
Yep.
That's crazy.
2,885 per ounce. That's wow.
Well, everything is relative, I suppose. I remember when I was younger and everybody was freaking out when gold went to 500 an ounce.
I was buying gold. I was buying gold for 300 an ounce. I was buying gold.
Yeah.
I was buying gold bars, 300 an ounce, and then it went up. I doubled my money. I went down to Bay Street and the TD Bank, Bay Street and University there, whatever. And that's the only place you can cash it in. I went there and I cashed it all in bars. And I lost all my gold like an idiot. I should have just held on to it. I didn't need the money. I just said I might go back down again. But I paid like 3 and change an ounce.
Well, it's really just a hedge against inflation. It's not really so much an investment.
I had like 10 ounces.
It's not really. It's a form of currency, right? So it's just it's the
I got
benchmark.
nothing.
Well, live and learn, or not. Bitcoin tonight is at $97,829 US. That's down about, we hit a high of around, I think, 107,000 US. It's come back down since then. What do you think of that?
It's going to crash like everything else. Like he said, it's not going to stay up. It's going to go back to reality. Everything's going to go, like Google's going to go back to like $40 and Apple's going to go down. Everything's going to go back. He says the tech's going to get hit the hardest. 70% is going to fall. So,
well, look what happened with NVIDIA when DeepSeek came out with their AI model.
China's eating their lunch.
Yeah.
So they don't like it. That's why it's got spyware on it. No, we ban it. We ban it. That's all they do. Countries, they sanction countries because they're trying to steal their wealth, steal their resources. That's what the Americans do.
Well,
they're
not,
those guys last night calling in.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't like the U.S. I'm just saying that's what they do. They steal people's resources. They tariff them. And as soon as you get the edge and you're getting ahead of them, they tariff you. They stop you because they don't want you to get going further, right? And that's what they do. They want to be number one. And right now, they're not number one anymore. I think the BRICS are kicking their ass.
Well, we'll see. Like, I don't think it has to be this way. Trump is just he just seems like he's just off the rails. But I'm going to tariff you and you and you and you and you. He's like it just anybody with any knowledge of economics knows that if you actually use the tariffs, it's destructive on both sides. And just talking like this, the threat of it is hurting the economy. It's so stupid.
They say Trump's the best deal maker in the world.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
and this is he one of his best friends. He was on and talking about Trump, and he says that Trump is the best deal maker in the world. He says, you know what he did to me. He says, I had 2 apartments for sale. And he came up and he said, how much you want for those apartments? 10 million, he says. Okay, tell you what, I'll give you 10 million, but you got to tell me everything that's wrong with it. And I told him everything that's wrong with it. He goes, okay, I'll give you 10 million. You fix all the problems now.
Wow.
He found out all the answers. And he goes, I've never been suckered in like that before. And he's the best negotiator, best deal maker. He knows what he's doing. He's a con artist. You heard it before, not just from me.
Yeah.
Okay. You heard from Hillary Clinton, from everybody. He's a con artist, and that's what you do. When every billionaire I know is a con artist. They're cheap too.
He seems like a gangster to me.
No controversy.
Yeah.
So, you know what, Rick?
Uh-huh.
Everybody's right now. We need a good sit. We used to have recessions every 5 years or something. There used to be a major recession.
Yeah.
We haven't had any.
Yes. That's right.
I used to have kids come into my door. Can I shovel your driveway for $20? You don't have anymore. They're too busy playing Nintendo at home.
Yeah.
They don't want, they don't want to go out and work. Nobody wants to work anymore, Rick.
True.
This whole world's, they'd rather steal the money. But we used to have kids coming to the door. My uncles, they came here from Italy about 60 years ago, whatever. I was living downtown at Jones and Danforth somewhere, and we're all in a house, 4 families, okay? I remember my 4 uncles. It was snowing like a bitch outside, like today. And they one uncle says, "Hey, everybody, grab your shovels. Let's go shovel driveways, make some money."
Yeah.
These are all grown men. My youngest uncle there, he's only knew how to speak English a bit, right?
Yeah.
So he knocked on the door. He says, "You shovel your driveway for some money?" He goes, "Go ahead." So all 4 of them shoveling the driveway like crazy. And then he tells my uncle, go get paid, $20. It was $10, I don't know, a long time ago. Anyways, he goes to the door. He goes, "You didn't tell me that you're going to charge me." He goes, "I'm renting here. I thought you worked for the landlord." I said, "I'm not paying you nothing." So my older uncle goes, "Okay, guys, throw the snow back on the driveway." So they threw the snow back on the driveway.
Yeah.
But today, I don't see any kids walking around with a shovel, going door to door to shovel the driveways. Do you have any in your neck of the woods?
Well, there was one of the neighbor's kids who, 2 things. He wanted to cut the grass, and
That's nice.
He's supposed to do it once a week. He did it twice all summer. No, doesn't bother me at all. I don't mind cutting the grass. It gets my mind off things for an hour.
You're supposed to do it on a regular basis. I see.
And and he came one time went last year to offer to do the driveway, but that's all.
Kids are lazy today, Rick.
Yeah.
They're really lazy. When I was a kid, I worked hard. I went out, made as much money as I can. I worked extra hours, and but today nobody wants to work anymore.
It's true.
It's a different era. I don't know. People got lazy.
Well, we've had it, pretty good for quite a while, right?
So we need a good
shake up
recession.
Yeah.
Teach these kids that life is not.
Well, a recession is supposed to happen. It's a natural thing, really, because it gets rid of the dead weight, the businesses that are not really viable,
sure.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah, purges the inefficiency. But if you have a government that is protectionist and they try to keep kicking the can down the road, they dump money into things to prop up businesses that shouldn't be propped up.
Basically, it's a form of reconstruction or purification of the system.
Yeah, just
yes, exactly,
Yep.
Dragon.
That's right. So it's and then the longer they go without that happening, when they artificially prop things up, it makes the bubble bigger and bigger, and then when it does happen, it's really bad.
That's what Harry Dent said. This one's going to be really bad.
Yeah.
You want a healthy analogy out of this? It's like if the economy is having a flu. Everyone's having like diarrhea once in a while. So, I mean, you got to purge all the bad stuff once in a while.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe Trump knows this. Maybe he wants to get it out of the way with creating problems all over the world. It's going to be like a global thing, right? So if he gets it out of the way, then he's got 3 years that he can rebuild instead of 6 months. You know what I mean? If it does happen in 2027, he's almost out the door, right?
Yeah.
Because but actually, he still have 2 more years, right? So, but anyways, that's what they're saying. He's saying before 2027, it's going to be a massive, but he's saying it's going to last a few years. I don't know. So it's not going to be like a one-day thing.
I don't know, John.
So anyhow, it's be careful what you buy, what you spend. People are not buying right now. A lot of people, right? And
of course, I wouldn't be buying. I'm not buying anything either. It's too volatile. We don't know what's around the corner now. That's what I've been saying. I think he's being very irresponsible in what he's doing, just with the way he talks. It has a negative impact on things.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's doing a good job at all. This is not what you're supposed to do.
All these kids that I know, all my friends' son and everything, they spend money like they work check by check. I says, don't you put 10-15% away? Just put it away like you had to pay it in taxes somewhere and it's gone.
Yeah.
Put it away. Pay yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, no. They'll go home. They spend money like crazy on stuff they don't even need.
Yeah.
John, let me ask you one question. You're older than me, so you probably have more experience than I do on that subject. But what analogy can you look into Trump, the way he's acting? Do you see that he's having a sort of a messiah syndrome going?
I don't know. That guy's he's acting funny. It seems like he's drunk on power. Huh?
Yeah.
And would you attribute that since he had these assassination attempt on this person?
The what? The what?
Assassination.
Would you
attempt.
attribute those effect of being drunk on power because right after he's been attempt of assassinate?
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I get a lot of mail from the Republican Party and a lot of questionnaires, a lot of surveys, and I've been writing down a lot of shit, and I noticed what I'm writing down, it's happening, and they're draining the swamp, and that's one thing I kept telling them to do, and I sent them all the wasteful spending, the corruption, and they're doing it, man. And Canada is just as bad. The liberal, just leave it open. I'll close it. Don't worry about it. Just leave it open. So it's I can't even close the door here. All the snow. but the liberals are one of the most corrupt governments ever. And if someone went in there, like Musk, and went through all the fine detail, they'd find, oh man, this morning I was watching Trudeau, that he should be locked up. The guy's one of the most corrupt politicians out there. And that lackey that he put in for the guy's, he works for Trudeau. He's just, it's like, Rick, yeah, I got a job for you. Okay, you're going to secure the border there. He goes, me? I don't know how to secure a border. Don't worry, we pay you well. Okay. But anyways, it's a joke. Politics is a joke today. Unqualified. I've worked for all the big companies in Toronto, Hydro, TTC, school boards, and I see the waste. And the people that work there, they're just like friends of friends of friends, and it's not who you are, it's what you know. They just get you in there, and you know nothing, and you're making big money. And it's the same with the government. They're all overpaid, unqualified people, and I'm telling you, they don't know what they're doing. They're just, oh, you're Trudeau's friend. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, come on in here. We got a good job for you. Well, we'll put you, like. Anyways, it's sad. It's sad with the way everything's working out. But people don't see the inside. But I see the way. You see, TTC. We had 3 chiefs making $150,000 a year each for one department to run what? 12 guys.
For what? The Toronto Transit Commission?
Yeah, when I worked at Toronto Transit, yeah.
Yeah.
They had 3 chiefs making like 150 each, looking after like 12 guys.
In total, or 12 each?
All you needed was 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they had 3, and and one guy came in from United Way. I don't know how he got in there, but he used to be the big wig at United Way, and he got in there. And he didn't know nothing about TTC, but he came in as a big cheese, making 150 grand.
Yeah.
And all the people working there didn't know their ass from a hole to the ground. They hired me right away because I've been doing my job for many, many years. So, and then I had to teach everybody because they didn't know. They were just friends of friends. Okay, well, come on, we'll get you a good job here. But this is how the government works, and it's a lot of waste. And they would push me to all these courses because they give you a couple of $1 million, and then if you don't use it, they cut it. Next year you won't get a couple of million, you'll get $1.5 million, right? Because you never used it all. So they have to show that. And the guy told me, he goes, we have to prove that we're using this money, so we're going to send you to all these courses. I said, I don't want to go to those courses. I got no interest in them. Well, we gotta spend some money to use up this money. Oh, fuck. Okay, all right. So here I am. It's such an easy job, but I just couldn't handle the politics in there. It's just no jokes, no. You got to go in there like stone face, sit down.
Yeah.
About 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you leave and go. It's just like if a salesman came in, he couldn't take you out for lunch because he'd be buying you. They're saying so. Okay, no problem. Couldn't take you to a hockey game. Couldn't do anything. So I said, you know what? The benefits were good. All the perks were good. Same with the school board. You're working too hard, John. You're gonna work yourself out of a job. Take your time. Come on, have a few coffees. Read the paper. Don't work so hard. We don't get that much work here.
Are you going to Are you going to go to the auto show or no? In Toronto.
I'm gonna watch it Friday on CP on City TV on Channel 7 Breakfast Television.
Are they doing like live coverage from there or something?
It's gonna be I got a friend that works at the fishing show by the airport, and he keeps telling me free admission. Come on, bring all your friends, and we're gonna get a lot of snow this weekend. I don't want to go anywhere. We're getting dumped on, Rick. I don't know where you live, but we're getting 10 inches tonight.
Yep.
And another 10 inches Friday. Saturday, Sunday, another 10 inches. I think Monday might be a good day. I don't know. Monday would be a good day to go, but between that and the fishing show, I might just. And ice fishing is free on Monday. You don't have to. You don't need a permit. Put it that way, but I don't ice fish. Well, it's not free, man. You know how much they charge for ice fishing? It's a joke. It's it's like $75 an hour. You know,
$75 an hour to go out.
Yeah.
Why do they charge for ice fishing?
Well, they got huts.
Yeah. Well,
and
if you rent
they
a hut,
drive
I
you
guess,
there
or
on a.
whatever.
Well, you got to cut the ice if you know what you're doing. I guess you don't. If you know what you go to Lake Simcoe or wherever that lake you're talking about.
Yeah, Mitchell's Bay. It's a big ice
that
fishing
place
attraction. Yeah, it's a lot of people go.
Yeah, that place is really good. You know, I like that fish.
Perch.
Perch. Oh yeah. Every time I go to Port Dover, that's what I eat. I eat all the perch there. It's beautiful. It's nice. That's one of my favorite fish is the perch.
Yeah, it's good. It's
really,
very good.
really nice fish.
Yeah.
Really nice fish.
Yeah.
So, and Lake Erie is all perch over there.
It is.
Port
yeah.
Dover.
Yep.
And it's fresh. They fish it every day, and I go there and
pickerel. There's pickerel in there, but perch.
Yeah, there's
is
pickerel too. Yeah,
the big
but I like the perch myself.
Yeah.
It's my favorite fish. Perch.
Yeah, it's really good.
But
yeah,
it's but Monday you don't need a license. You can go there, drill a hole, if you know what you're doing, and stick a line in there and freeze your ass off.
Yeah, you can.
Unless you got a hut.
Yeah. Well, the huts cost.
I don't know
money.
I don't know if you could put a tent there. I guess on the ice.
Yeah, I've seen guys do that. Yeah, as long as it doesesn't blow away.
Actually, you know what? Speaking of that, I've seen a guy on YouTube the other day. He's a prepper kind of guy, and he was actually promoting some kind of tent actually that you can use for ice fishing for those who like outdoors stuff. So basically, there's a hole in the middle of the tent, and the tent is you can inflate it with air. So basically, it's like a big bubble. But I mean, it's working. Supposedly, it works well. So I'm not a ice fisher guy, so I cannot say. But I mean, hey, technology, guys.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The weather sucks right now. I was watching Russia there and Moscow. The river, it must be salt water. It never freezes.
Mm.
And they even said this river never freezes. Must be salt water, eh?
Must be.
It must be.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Moscow.
Well, we're getting near the top of the hour here. Why don't you give us a final thought there, Dragon, and then we'll get John to wrap things up tonight.
Well, I hope you all enjoy the night, and it's gonna be tremendous. We're gonna do some marvelous thing. Canada, you're gonna love us. We're gonna take over, but not too hard. We're gonna go simply just fine. Don't worry.
We're going to make America huge again. Huge.
We're gonna make America huge again. It's gonna be tremendous.
That's a great impression. I love that. So wrap us up here tonight, John.
I can't beat that.
Yeah, that's really good. I love that.
Yeah, but
Please be generous. Donate to Rick. He needs us. He needs our contribution. So give a lot. Make your little pennies worth. So yeah. Even if it's a little super chat sometime. Oh yeah, we don't have super chat anymore. That sucks.
Yeah, you can donate through the Rumble Rants, though. You can do that, and and thank you.
Oh yeah, Rumble Rants work.
Yeah.
What I do, people out there, if you want to donate, a good way to donate is listen. What I normally do is you buy a prepaid like $25 or $50 credit card at anywhere, grocery stores, shoppers. They're available everywhere, and you can donate online through the chats. $10, $5, whatever. That's what I normally do, and this way, you don't get zinged if you think like there's a lot of credit card scams. They're saying to be careful. This morning, they're saying that the biggest scam on credit cards right now is you swipe it, and it says it didn't register. Swipe again, and then you swipe it again, and it says it doesn't register. So you try a different card, and then finally it goes. So they got two credit cards or two cards, and they're stealing people's money. And this is the new scam that's going on right now with credit cards. So be careful with credit cards. So if you buy a prepaid card for $50, you know what I mean? It's American money though, when you buy a credit card. But still, you can donate 10, 20, whatever, 5, $2. But that's what I do. If you're worried about being me, I'm very paranoid. I pay cash for pretty well everything, unless I have to use credit card. I pay cash because I don't trust anybody anymore. So
wise words.
Hey, Monday is Family Day, Rick.
Is it? Oh,
yeah, and they're having the premier, the elections on Monday too. Not the election, the debate for premier is on Monday at 6:30
in Ontario.
Is it? Yeah, it's just usually you think people are going to watch it because it's Family Day, right? Or 6:30. Oh, they might be home at 6:30 because you got to work the next day, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. They should have made it later, like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, 6:30. That's an odd time to have a debate.
Yeah, but there's a debate. I don't know.
We'll cover it here. I don't know if we'll cover it live, but we'll provide some sort of coverage on it.
But it's like I said, it's a holiday here, and
Family Day.
Family Day.
Well, my kids are all grown up and moved out, so they don't talk to me anymore. Well, once in a while.
I will have a family day with my Maverick family on the chat Fisher, and probably have a little call if I can.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, and people asking about that secret recording we had and wanting to hear more of that. I'm assessing, and I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. Probably have some more coverage on that front in the next, through the week, this week of some kind. So stay tuned for that. And with that, love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. John, take us out on the...
Go Canada, go!
Saturday, you're supposed to fly your Canadian flag to show your patriotism. There's a campaign out there. I forgot to mention that.
I've got 3 American flags here, Rick. I don't know. I do have actually I got 2 Canadian flags, but they're not very big. The American flags are big.
Well,
actually, I got a big one over there.
Does that make you a triple traitor?
I have a Canadian flag flying in the backyard all times. It's flying right now. It's all okay. But I got 2 big ass American flags I got for free.
Oh. Well, you're supposed to fly the Canadian flag on Saturday to show your patriotism.
I like the American flag better. I'm not trying to be a pain in the ass.
Yes,
but
you are.
It's a nice, sexy flag, the American flag.
You like that one? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful flag. Beautiful. It would look nice with a red Canadian flag one at the starters, huh? What do you think?
I think it's time to sign off. And since you didn't pick up on the cue, I'm going to throw it to Dragon. So Dragon, 7 p.m. Eastern.
No.
7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
I want to stay Canadian.
Yeah,
guys.
me too. Dragon on the
flip side.
Okay, here's the other land that Trump wants to take over, Mars land. Here's MAGA Mars. Maverick and the News Brothers. See you tomorrow.
Have a good night, Rick, and everybody else. Bye.
He's got a plan. It's bold and grand, taking over land, sea and sand. Canada's ours. Greenland Greenland's in the mix. The Panama Canal's just another fix. But Mars, oh Mars, you pesky red sphere, your spying drones are making it clear. It's a threat to Earth, a cosmic sin. But don't worry, folks, he'll make Mars great again. MAGA Mars, you're the 53rd state. Under Trump, your future is great. With Elon Musk and the Space Force too, we're slapping tariffs on your Martian crew. Make Mars great, yeah, make Mars ours. Wave that flag on the red rock stars. We'll impose sanctions, taxes, and fines. Martian exports know they're crossing the line. The Martians cry foul, but Trump doesn't care. He'll build a space wall floating up there. Elon's on board with rockets ablaze. The stock market's loving this Martian craze. He says, trust me, folks, I know the deal. Martian gold is ours, this plan is real. MAGA Mars, you're the 53rd state. Under Trump, your future is great. With Elon Musk and the Space Force too, we're slapping tariffs on your Martian crew. Make Mars great, yeah, make Mars ours. Wave that flag on the red rock stars. Yeah, Mars hotels with golf resorts, intergalactic trade reports, a MAGA dome where Martians bow. We've got the best Martians, Trump says now. Fake news claims the plan's absurd, but Trump tweets back, it's the final word. Martian drones not on my watch. Space Force ready to kick it up a notch. MAGA Mars, you're the 53rd state. Under Trump, your future is great. With Elon Musk and the Space Force too, we're slapping tariffs on your Martian crew. Make Mars great, yeah, make Mars ours. Wave that flag on the red rock stars. So buckle up for the Martian fight. Trump's taking over the Martian night. It's all for freedom, it's all for the win. Oh, say can you see, he'll make Mars great again. Make Mars great, yeah, make Mars ours. Wave that flag on the red rock stars. So buckle up for the Martian fight. Trump's taking over the Martian night. It's all for freedom, it's all for the win. Oh, say, can you see, he'll make Mars great again.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.